history may not necessarily always repeat, but it does rhyme. And at this point in time, there is a type of generational psychosis that is happening here. There is a type of racialized violence that Kristi Noem is carrying out vis-a-vis the nation state within the Trump administration that must be paid attention to. I'm Antoine Michael, and this is The Breakdown.
Here at CCOT today and visiting this facility. And first of all, I want to thank El Salvador and their president for their partnership with the United States of America to bring our terrorists here and to incarcerate them and have consequences for the violence that they have perpetuated in our communities. I also want everybody to know, if you come to our country illegally, this is one of the consequences you could face. First of all, do not come to our country illegally. You will be removed and you will be prosecuted. But know that this facility is one of the tools in our toolkit that we will use if you commit crimes against the American people.
U.S. deports more detainees to El Salvador, calling them, quote, violent criminals. Why the men who were deported to El Salvador's mega prison may never make it out. Many Venezuelans sent to El Salvador prison had no U.S. criminal record. El Salvador's offer to house U.S. prisoners is illegal. Trump administration ignores judge's order to turn deportation planes around. I'm just going to go out on a whim and say that there is someone somewhere in an office that is keeping very close documentation of all of this. Because when this little era of fun is over for them, someone's going to have to answer for this. If you are not aware, that is Kristi Noem. She is over the Department of Homeland Security. And one of the things that is, happening with this administration, at least they are alleging what they would like to do is save money. So how is it that Kristi Noem is going all over the United States? I showed a video of her the other day in New York, all over the United States, indeed all over the world on taxpayer dollars with a film crew in tow who must also have tickets, who must have lodging, who must have food, and she's doing these photo shoots as well as seemingly impromptu videos or stage videos, I guess I should say, really, all over the world in the United States. How much is this running the U.S. taxpayer? If the idea is that you are going to be cutting out unnecessary money, this seems like a great place to start. Because if you were going to do this, you could have really done this via Zoom and just said, hey, this is what we've done, even though according to what is provided here, it's illegal. Right? Let's be clear about that. And then for you to sit up here and film this in front of incarcerated persons, using them as a prop to generate Democratic capital for yourself, to make yourself seem more legible onto the nation state, is beyond the pale. It is absolutely beyond the pale. And there's historical reverberance here, right? What this reminds me of is when white folk would go to the zoo to look at black people when they put black people inside of zoos. When they put us out there and treated us like monkeys to be observed by people. Then before that, when enslaved black persons were on the auction block and white people could come by and they could touch, they could measure, and they could do all of the things to get their little trip off and to get their little feel for what they needed. This is what this reminds me of. At this point in time, listen, history may not necessarily always repeat, but it does rhyme. And at this point in time, there is a type of generational psychosis that is happening here. There is a type of racialized violence that Kristi Noem is carrying out vis-a-vis the nation state within the Trump administration that must be paid attention to. And according to legal experts here, this kind of stuff is illegal. Now, what I would like to know is what are the implications within the international stage? And what type of things can be done there? Because when other nations have done this, and let's just go there. We saw what was done in Nazi Germany. Let's not be crazy. When they did this to Jewish folks, right? We've seen this before in several ways with different ethnic and racialized groups. And here we are observing the Trump administration weaponizing the configuration of the nation state to carry out racist objectives. And now here they are in El Salvador doing this particular thing. I am telling you, watch this space. This is literally history in the making, and not in a good way. Because when it comes down to it, somebody is going to have to give an account. And there's going to be no way in which people like Kristi Noem is going to be able to backpedal an impaneled jury watching all of her videos saying the things that she is saying about undocumented persons. There is a level of humanitarian treatment that needs to be engaged here. And what we are seeing, what we are observing for people who have not violated law in any way, shape, or form. And listen, full cards on that. I'm an abolitionist. I don't believe in prisons and jails. I believe that if we were to radically reconstitute society and make sure that everybody gets what they need, we would not be where we are in the first place. But we are where we are in the first place due to the capitalist constraints of the contemporary nation state that has made it possible vis-a-vis colonialism and European discovery of the new world. That capitalism is the only way in which they can find themselves onto society, because they had nothing to give during the trading and bartering era. They had nothing to offer the world. You cannot grow crops there. There is no gold there. The Moors had to go up to Europe to teach them how to cook, how to bathe, and everything else in between. So because they had nothing to offer the world, they had to invent capitalism so that folks could be on their knees in order for them to stand up. But if you can only define yourself vis-a-vis the subjugation of others, you have a problem. And that materializes in the same way by standing in front of incarcerated people, that the only thing that is keeping them from getting on your ass is them bars that is holding them in. Be so for real about this right now. This has been The Breakdown. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.